Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Welcome, friends and neighbors. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you so much for joining us. Close to home, the West Bloomfield Fire Department recognized National Preparedness Month and held an early celebration of Fire Prevention Week at their annual open house. The final open house at the current fire station number 1 on Orchard Lake Road. Our team was there live for the entire 3 hours of fun activities and learning, and our reporter Jake Schaff got an inside scoop on the future of fire station number 1. He joins us now with more. Jake.
Hey, Tyler, great to see you today on this very rainy Monday morning. But yes, yesterday was the annual West Bloomfield Fire Department open house. If you take a look behind me, I'll move out of the way. My big umbrella out of the way. You can see fire station number 1. It's one of the last times you're going to be getting a look of the fire station in that way, because as you said, renovations are going to be starting very, very soon and taking place throughout the next year, throughout 2026, for the brand new fire station that's going to be taking its place. Before the open house yesterday, I had a chance to speak with West Bloomfield Fire Chief Greg Flynn, who talked about some of the impending construction that's going to be coming to West Bloomfield and about the feelings that this was the final major event at this West Bloomfield Fire Station 1.
Well, it's very exciting for first of all, the annual messaging on fire is everyone's fight and fire prevention within our communities. But there's a lot of excitement building around the renovation and really what the station will look like, which we hope will be Open House 2026. We'll be right back here and in the new fire station.
Could you describe a little bit on maybe what the new firehouse is going to be looking like?
You're going to see a refresh on, this municipal building along Orchard Lake Road, and we're going to update it, bring some color into it, and really just make it part of the community with some additional elements with the training tower and just an overall refresh, a kind of a fire station 2.0. The needs are apparent, and they have been. It's been part of our capital improvement plan for years, so it's been something that has been building, and we've been kind of collecting data and ideas and for the renovation. So it's all been part of the plan, so we're right on target with the planning, and it's an important part of government is managing those resources and ensuring that we don't get to a crisis level, that we're kind of in front of that, and that maintains services to the community.
What have you heard from residents who are really excited and really looking forward to these brand new changes with the fire department?
Well, I think the residents we're gonna build that excitement probably in the middle of October, once we get in front of the board with the full proposal and in that public hearing. Residents are welcome to join us there. They're welcome to have conversations leading up to it. But at that meeting, October 20th, that's going to be where the green light really becomes very bright. The dollars will be approved, the plan will be approved, and it'll be forward. There's a lot of memories that are connected to this space, but what an opportunity for new memories. What an opportunity to show the importance of a building like this in the community. you're designing a large, building like this that has a multitude of operational aspects. There's some nerves with that. You want to get it right. The taxpayers trust us with those dollars. We want to get that right, and we want to future-proof it. We got to be thinking decades into the future as to what some of those needs are, and we got to build all those design elements in.
Are you looking forward to the future?
I very much am. I think the future is very bright for the WBFD. This community has a lot to be proud of with their paramedics, their firefighters here, our fire prevention role, our mitigation of hazards, our disaster response. There's a lot to be proud of in West Bloomfield.
There certainly is a lot to be proud of, as Greg said. And I mean, Tyler, if there's a way to cap off such an incredible run like this building had, yesterday was certainly the way to do it. You and I were both out there. We had a great time interviewing so many incredible people, all out there to support the West Bloomfield Fire Department. It was a great day, and I cannot wait to see what's to come with this brand new building in just a year. Can't wait to see it.
And if you missed it, you'll be able to tune into that 1 p.m. each day throughout the week, with the exception of Thursday, as a result of a replay of the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation meeting that will occur on Wednesday night. But all that's also available on demand as we speak on CivicCenterTV.com and on our YouTube page. Jake, we'll have more from you in the coming weeks on Fire Station Number 1. Thank you for joining us live out in the field today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyler.
Jake Schaff live at Fire Station Number 1, 2 consecutive days. He was with us throughout the entire 3-hour broadcast on Sunday at the Fire Department Open House on demand, CivicCenterTV.com, and there as well to kick off your work week. For more updates along the way on the Fire Station Number 1 renovation project, join us right here on the Splash Live and join us on CivicCenterTV.com, and follow the West Bloomfield Fire Department on their Facebook page at WB Fire Department. While we focused on emergency preparedness via communications during our live broadcast at the Fire Department Open House, our local firefighters and paramedics are always putting their training in focus each and every day. Civic Center TV General Manager Dave Scott spoke to Training Captain Jeff Letkowski from our local fire department at their recent open house for an inside look.
Jeff, Captain Letkowski, how should I address you, sir?
Jeff is perfect,
Jeff
Dave.
is okay.
Yes, it is. Thank you for being here, and thanks for having me.
Well, no problem. It's a privilege. And I already told Flynn, I said, very good this year, not scheduling this during a Lions football game. That worked out really well.
It does help quite a bit, yeah.
We have him trained now. It took a little while.
It took many years, right?
It took a little while. We have him trained.
And hopefully moving forward, we can continue this.
So I've been around here for a while, and I grew up in the community, and I'm seeing a lot of new faces in the team here, and that's got to put a lot of burden on you as the training captain to get all these people up to speed.
The exact opposite. It's not a burden. It's actually a joy.
Okay, forgive me. You're right.
We are hiring a lot of good men and women into our department. There's probably about a third of the people here are new to the fire service.
Great.
We've been able to send them through the paramedic program, the fire academy. They're hardworking, and they are a huge asset to this township. And they're going to make this an even better place than what we've been able to do with it. So we're very excited for that.
And that really must reflect the quality of this fire department, that you're able to attract people, because I know there is a lot of competition right now for people in public safety, and it's hard to recruit people to come to fire departments across our country. You seem to be doing pretty well here.
We are doing well. I don't know if it's hard. It's just that, like you mentioned, every fire department right now is looking for good, qualified applicants. As an industry, there's a lot of people that are going to be retiring in the next 3 to 5 years. So there's going to be huge voids in the fire service. And because of that, every department is looking to fill those spots.
So briefly, on the open house day, maybe there's some people that came here because they want to get a gig in this industry. What do you have to do to become an employee of the West Bloomfield Fire Department? What kind of training?
Yep, the big one is you have to have heart, you got to have grit, and you really want to care for the people that live in this township. That's really number one. Outside of that, we require our firefighters to be paramedics, which is about a 2 years worth of schooling.
Every single firefighter is a paramedic.
Is a paramedic within West Bloomfield. Outside of that, we require firefighter 1 and 2, which is an academy style at any of the local community colleges. And then with the paramedic and your fire 1 and 2, you pretty much have access to any fire department to get hired. So those are the two things that we look for with applicants.
You know, I'm so glad you brought that up because I'm a huge fan of community colleges here in the state of Michigan. I do a lot of work with them, and as I'm wearing one of my other hats, and that is really nice. So you can go to community college, you can get the direct training you need there. Doesn't necessarily require a 4-year degree. I'm sure you could do that if you
Correct.
want, right? And then you have the option to engage in this industry, and I don't know, something really cool right now. I mean, you know, firefighters seems to be a profession that is, I'll say it, a little sexier. More people want to get involved in it. It's a profession that seems to be of very high interest to a lot of people.
It's really a calling, right? So whether it's the fire department, the police department, it really takes an individual that likes to work hard, they have grit, and they truly care about people they don't know. And when you got those three things kind of coming together, you get an individual that just has passion and dedication and truly wants to be the best that they can be.
You keep saying these things, and it sounds like a football team to me. And I imagine to some degree, you do build a high level of...
But we win.
Well, you do. Now, wait a minute. That football team right next door has got a perfect record, and that football team that plays in downtown Detroit, they're doing pretty good, too.
That is true. A quick shout-out to the West Bloomfield High School football team.
Oh, my goodness.
And their excellent record out there. Please keep it up, gentlemen.
And be sure to tune into all the games right here on Civic Center TV at Lakes FM. So does training continue through your career, or is it something that you get when you just sign up?
It's really your whole career. So you do the initial Fire 1 and 2 at the community college, and they give you the basic firemanship of how to do the job. But the real training comes in once you get hired, maintaining the proficiency and the competency of all the skills that we have our firefighters do. So they have to be able to pull hose, be able to extinguish a fire effectively and safely, put ladders up, be able to carry people, be able to, you name it, we pretty much do it. So the training is ongoing. Up until the day you retire, our firefighters are out there training and trying to become more proficient in everything they do.
Well, good job. Anything else you want to talk about with regard? You got a good grip.
Oh, thank you,
like
Dave.
every fireman and fire person I've ever met. Anything you want to mention that we didn't get to today?
Just if it hasn't been mentioned, the importance of changing our smoke detectors. Remember, anyone out there, we don't want to play with fire. If for some reason we do, we want to stop, drop, and roll. And just the fact that Dave here at Civic Center TV is one of the better announcers here. Announcer, is that a correct term?
Sure, I'll take that.
And we'd just like to thank you for coming out here today and kind of showcasing all the stuff that we're doing.
You can keep up to date with the West Bloomfield Fire Department on their Facebook page at WB Fire Department. You can also join us for our on-demand broadcast of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House for 2025. Right now on our website, civiccentertv.com. At the very top of our homepage, we'll have a link for you. It's also available on our YouTube page as well as on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. The West Bloomfield Lakers football team continued their early season surge on Friday, picking up their first road win of the 2025 season. A 33-16 victory in northern Oakland County at Lake Orion, a game showcasing their might as they continue through these first 4 weeks of the season, but also highlighting some glaring issues that they need to continue to address if they want that win streak to move forward. Joining me with more insight on the Lakers football team is our color commentator for Laker football, Matt Gattoni. Matt, welcome to the program once again.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Glad to have you on, as the Lakers had really what looked like their first big challenge of the season outside of some of the games you'd expect, like Rochester Adams in the early portion of the season or Clarkston later on in the season. That Lake Orion game, on paper going into it, looked like one where it was going to be all Lakers from the start to the finish, maybe another mercy rule game, which would have been the third in the first 4 weeks. Very different in those opening, really 24 minutes of that ball game as Lake Orion seemed to hold their own.
Yeah, that's why you really got to look at that second half and really the end of the second quarter as, you know, really something to hang your hat on for the Lakers. That's one thing they haven't really had to deal with this year, aside from the Rochester Adams game, is really playing close games of football and playing from behind. They were trailing for a good portion of the first half, and we really saw how, come mid to late second quarter, how they kind of flipped the switch and turned things up, and how the final score ended up being.
Yeah, it ended up being a 33-16 ball game, but Lake Orion, for the first time this season, there was a team that led the West Bloomfield Lakers on the scoreboard. They ended up with a 7-point lead on a 3-point lead on West Bloomfield. They scored a touchdown, then they got a field goal to go up 10-7, and from there it was the Lakers on a 26-point scoring streak before really a garbage time touchdown off of a penalty led to the final score of 33-16. But one of the highlights of this game was the performance of Jamal Shakespeare on the ground. He had 3 touchdowns in this game, but really with limited yardage on those 8 carries he had and a couple of passing attempts as well. Still, he showcased his ability to execute in those key positions and played a really solid offensive game for West Bloomfield.
Yeah, and for most of the season, we've kind of looked at Jamal Shakespeare as that guy for the Lakers offense that, push comes to shove. They're going to lean on him to, do the dirty work or get the ball moving if they can't get anything going on offense. And that's what you saw in this game. Things kind of got tough. They leaned on Jamal Shakespeare, and they ended up getting the win.
5 touchdowns on the ground for Jamal so far this season. He is leading West Bloomfield on the scoreboard so far through these first 4 weeks. Been such a key player for them in combination with Jackson Carver, who continues to take the majority of the snaps at quarterback. 5 for 8, 82 yards passing at Lake Orion. Really, this was a game dominated on the ground for West Bloomfield. 128 yards rushing, but as much as that was a factor, we can't discount the play of this West Bloomfield defense. Once again, getting to the quarterback, getting to the ball carrier, forcing turnovers, and then the special teams also executing really well, including Bryce Tillman-Jones, who had a very long kickoff return against Lake Orion, as did Obi Duru, his longest of the game being 74 yards that set up that opening touchdown in the first couple of minutes from Jamal Shakespeare.
Yeah, really the intensity of both those units is kind of infectious for this entire team, and really what drives this Lakers team, it seems like. They come out and they play physical, they want to hit, and it just seems to set the tone for the entire game.
Yeah, Tank Pittman had a big tackle for a loss in the second half. Jeremiah Benson continues to be a major factor. And while so much of the spotlight goes on Jeremiah because he's a Big Ten commit, he leads the team in some of those key defensive stats like quarterback pressures and sacks, tackles for loss. You can't discount the play of the rest of that defensive line, guys like Tank Pittman, like Tristan Hunter, even the linebacking core that has been able to put pressure at both the first and the second level against a number of formidable teams so far this season. That's been a huge key for these Lakers because the fact of the matter is they went the first 2 weeks without allowing a single point. Week number 3, they limited the amount of scoring that was going to go on from Rochester Adams, a team that can score the football pretty well. It's one of their absolute strong suits over the past several seasons under Tony Petrito. And then in week number 4, all things considered, they gave up 10 points throughout that game. Those last 6 were on a play that really came off of a penalty as time expired and gave Lake Orion a second chance, and it seemed like the Lakers took their foot off the gas. So as much as we want to look at the number of points West Bloomfield's put on the scoreboard in these first 4 weeks, it's really been that defense that has led them to this point.
Yeah, and you mentioned Tank Pittman, and he is just a crucial piece to this defense that allows the edge rushers like Gray and Robertson to play as well as they do. And he does a lot of the dirty work for the defensive line and just eats up blocks that allows these edge rushers to get these one-on-one matchups that keep on paying off in their benefit.
Yeah, this team has continued to play excellent football in all 3 phases. Part of that has been, for the most part, limiting penalties. Really, the only time we saw that creep up on them as being a major issue was in week number 2 against Southfield A&T, but again, became an issue in this game against Lake Orion. The difference was they answered back. After those penalties gave Lake Orion an advantage, West Bloomfield was able to limit how much of an advantage that was, and then consequently on the other side, when Lake Orion had penalties against West Bloomfield was able to turn those into a compounding benefit for them and put points on the board. One of those is a really good thing, something you want to carry through the entire regular season, and definitely as you play against the best of the best in the MHSAA, the other could be something that costs you football games.
Yeah, we talked about poise and composure, and that's one thing that this Lakers team has. They don't really get hung up on previous plays or previous games. They attack each play with the same mentality, and that has allowed them to, kind of rebound from mistakes or penalties at times in tremendous ways. But like you mentioned, they got to kind of clean up and get more disciplined, because at times these penalties can cost you games in the OAA Red.
The Lakers are 4-0 after their 33-16 victory in week number 4 against the Lake Orion Dragons, their first win on the road in 2025. And this is their first 4-0 start since 2022, Matt. Only their second 4-0 start in the last 10 seasons. The last time that they did it prior to 2022 was all the way back in 2015. It was part of that catalyst in the first few years of the Ron Bellamy era, where the Lakers turned the tide and became statewide contenders for several years, making it to the state title game, being the runner-up in 2017, coming back in the COVID season in 2020, and taking home the state title. Now it seems that the Lakers are pointing back in that direction, but as they go into the middle portion of this season, we're really going to see if this Lakers team is for real or not. Their next 3 games, it doesn't get any easier as it goes along. Birmingham Groves this week, 7 o'clock kickoff, broadcast on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM, live from the Swamp. And then the next 2 weeks after that, they open October with a road game at Oxford, and then a home game on homecoming night against the Clarkston Wolves. This is really where we see just how good this Lakers team can be this season.
Yeah, and these next 2 games are particularly interesting to me, because last year, Groves ran the football and just kind of pushed around West Bloomfield in the trenches. So it's a bit of a revenge game for the Lakers that, they have to remember that game from last year, and having it at home this year, a chance to, get some revenge on Birmingham Groves. But then Oxford, that's definitely a game to look at, because historically, Oxford's kind of been a tough matchup at times, and going to Oxford can be it's a very tough place to win at.
Yeah, I call that every single time we play Oxford, home or away, especially on the road at Big Blue. It's the Big Blue trap game, because whether they are an OAA championship contender like they were last year, ultimately taking the tiebreaker and becoming, for the first time, the champions of the OAA Red Division in the 2024 regular season, or they're having a down year. It's a team that always plays hard for 48 minutes. They play really solid team football. And if you let off the gas against a team like the Wildcats, that could be a game that sneaks up on you and you could end up losing. As of right now, West Bloomfield is at the top of the OAA Red Division. They're 2-0 in the Red, while Clarkston is 1-0. They also have a tiebreak in overall record at 4-0, with Clarkston at 3-1 right behind. So it's a 2-horse race right now in the OAA Red Division, but a couple things change. West Bloomfield picks up a loss in the Red. Clarkston picks up a win in the Red, and West Bloomfield perhaps has a bad game this week against Birmingham Groves. All of a sudden, we're back at some level ground between the Lakers and the Wolves. So that's going to be a big factor in this. The West Bloomfield Lakers, looking at, after last season, a 28-13 loss on the road at Birmingham Groves. Groves coming into this game 2-2. Wins over U of D Jesuit in week 1 and Rochester last week. Losses in the 2 weeks in between that. Oxford, a 3-point game, 21-24. Harper Woods 2 weeks ago, an 8-35 loss to a recent Division IV champion in the Pioneers. Matt, as the Lakers go into this week against Birmingham Groves, this is a team that, much like Oxford, always comes in poised to play and be competitive, whether they are undefeated and state championship contenders in Division II, or they're having sort of a reloading year like it looks like may be the case in 2025. What are you looking for from the Lakers on Friday to come out victorious and start 5-0 for the first time since 2022? Well, since 2015.
Yeah, really, revenge is what it comes down to me. I want to see the Lakers get their get back. I want to see them run the football all over Groves and just kind of dominate the trenches the way we saw Groves kind of do to the Lakers last year. I want to see them come out with intensity, not really get penalties, but just, control the game and be physical the entire time.
They got to play an excellent 48 minutes of football, get back to that disciplined play we saw a couple weeks ago at the Swamp when Rochester Adams came to town. When all the big lights are on you and you're the regional game of the week, you played some of your best football in a number of years in an uber competitive game against Rochester Adams. Last week ultimately took care of business against the Lake Orion Dragons, but there was a lot to be left to desire from the Lakers in still a lopsided win. Matt, thank you so much for your time as always.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Follow the team all season long with Matt Catoni and I on our live broadcasts, and tune in every week for This Week in Laker Football on civiccentertv.com/LakerSports. If you missed the game on Friday, it is still available on demand. Of course, exclusively on the NFHS network. We do have a link to that video on our Lakers Sports page as well. So if you want to subscribe and watch that game, you can go ahead or stay tuned for more insight on that ball game later on today and throughout this week on This Week in Laker Football with head coach Zach Hilbers and I. The West Bloomfield Fire Department was in the spotlight over the weekend at their annual Fire Department Open House, with tons going on in the community and big changes on the way at Fire Station Number 1. Our team's Dave Scott caught up with Fire Chief Greg Flynn to dive into what's going to be a very busy couple of months ahead for the local fire department.
Joining us now, he is the chief of the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Get to look at your shirt to make sure that was you, Greg Flynn.
It's such a treat to be the fire chief here, Dave.
So tell us what's going on here and why we do this every year.
Well, I think the overarching theme is that fire is everyone's fight. And this is an opportunity to bring the community together and see just not the resources, the fire trucks and the fire gear and our friends in law enforcement and some of the things they use, but fire prevention. Fire is an important part of our lives. It warms our homes, it cooks our food, but left unchecked, it can be devastating and immediately change lives and have an impact on lives for the years to come.
Well, I was just saying a minute ago that grease is okay and a fire is okay, but a grease fire is definitely not.
Well, you know, and Lieutenant Inspector Donovan's going to do that demo, and people are always amazed when that water hits that grease that the fire, you know, is 10 times bigger than what it was had you done nothing or simply done the right thing by simply covering the fire with a lid.
All right, so in our homes, we definitely want to have a fire extinguisher. We want to know where it is, right, and have it available, correct?
For sure.
But there are other things that we need. I mean, our fire extinguisher, would that put out a grease fire?
So remember, we have the fire triangle. So we have heat, we have the fuel, and we're going to have oxygen. And so anything we can do to break that triangle somewhere along the way is what's going to do that. So the fire extinguisher is actually taking away the oxygen. It puts a blanket over that and smothers the fire out. So I think we're going to be competing with this as he goes through.
Okay.
So
our mics are real close. So
all right, very good.
You can't hear, but they can hear us. Don't worry, it's okay.
Very good. So I think having a fire extinguisher is important. I think that having a working smoke alarms that we check, you know, and so many of them now, Dave, are connected. So in my home, there's I think they call it a Bluetooth web or network that all of those smoke alarms are programmed. So the one near my kitchen, I program it as kitchen, and when any of my smoke go off, it tells me basement, kitchen,
nice.
Bedroom. So now we know where the fire is, and then we would execute the escape plan. And I think we think of escape plans only for kids. And I'm going to tell you, my youngest is going to be 19 this year. When I moved him into his dorm at East Lansing, go Spartans, I went over the escape plan with him. This is where you're going to get out. If this is blocked, this is your secondary egress. You're never too old to have an escape plan. And I think that's, again, a message that we bring out here in Fire Safety Month, week. Every day is Fire Safety Day, is that we all have a responsibility.
It is exceptionally loud in here. I will give you that. Maybe we can work on that before the day is over. But so how do you make that decision? Is there and maybe it's different in every case. But how do you make that decision? Fight the fire or escape?
So we strongly encourage people just to get out of the house and let us come in and put the fire out. But I think the practical side of us comes in, and when I'm sitting there looking at a small fire on my stove, and I have a lid right there, and I can just simply slide the lid over, I'm going to do that. And we want our citizens to think critically.
Sure.
We don't want an excited response or grab this fiery liquid fuel and try to move with it, and as you spill that, if you were to spill it, it'll spread the fire. So it's making good decisions. An item that comes up often in discussions are these fire blankets that you see advertised.
That's what I was thinking about, yeah.
And if we use the fire triangle again, it makes sense. The challenge with a fire blanket, with the lids, once we cover it, we just don't peek. Don't look at it, because as soon as you lift that blanket, you add the oxygen, and the triangle comes back together, and the heat and fuel are still there, and it reignites, and it can be even more dangerous.
Well, I don't know if we saw that over the corner of Greg Flynn there or not, but they just put the fire out, the grease fire out outside, and great team. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they were able to do that and show people. I've had that happen on a barbecue. Of all the places, you're outside, you're a little less worried outside of your home, but you get a serious grease fire in a barbecue on your back deck, that can turn into a problem real quick.
And I would encourage, if that was them, they just put the lid on it. Yeah, I would put the camera on that, because what they're going to show is when somebody puts water on that and what happens to the fire when you do that, and how the water, if you were to pour water onto grease, you immediately see it separate and disperse. It's not going to put that fire out. What it's going to do is spread it, and some of that water vapor is going to go up, and it's going to take oil with it, and that oil is going to ignite, and you're going to have fire everywhere. So we try to demo these types of things at the fire open house so people realize, like, hey, I won't do that. They showed me what not to do, and they showed me that if I was to throw that water on it, and my cabinets, my wood cabinets, my veneer cabinets, all combustibles, my curtains, all those things nearby, all of those then spontaneously ignite and now we have a full-blown kitchen fire. All of it from a small fire contained within what we would say contained within a cooking vessel. That's how we code those fires, when we keep it inside the cooking vessel.
It's so good to talk to you, because I was just thinking on the way over here today of all the video packages we put together over the years. I've been at Civic Center TV covering heroic events by the fire department, things that would have been so much worse had you not responded. What is it like to be on the front line for your crew and yourself in fighting these fires? When you get to a home, it's deeply engulfed, there are people there, and moments really count.
Well, I think it's something that maybe our residents, it's good. I don't think that they are expected to completely and fully understand our emergency operations, but the team that is on duty, our operations team, and the way that we deploy services inside of the 4 communities served by the WBFD, Dave, it is really remarkable that you don't see more headlines, and it's because of the quick and rapid intervention and the pre-planning and the training and the courageous professionals that, and here they go. They're leaving the station right now, going on a call. So
there's a call coming out of this station right now.
Well, there's probably multiple calls, and now they're pulling out of this station because we bring a lot of resources because we want the residents to see it. But even if you were walking the grounds here, things are set up to deploy if needs in the community start to come up. So you'll even see the tower truck come down and go fully into response mode.
Okay.
If we go 2 or 3 more calls deep, they'll be putting that truck into service. It's what we do, and you don't have to think about it when you're at home, because we're thinking about those types of things for you, and that's our job, and we're very honored to do that here in West Bloomfield.
Well, you do it with great distinction and service to the community, and we appreciate it. I'll let you go. I know you got other people to talk to. Before we go, I think this is going to be the last time in this environment that we're together for an open house at Fire Station number 1. You got a major project coming up here. Tell people briefly about it.
Well, we plan to, and we've been working through the Capital Improvement Committee on a multi-year presentation here, build-up for the meeting on October 20th, where we'll go before the board with the entire plan and recommended budget for renovation here at Fire Station number 1. You know, Dave, the station's been here since the early 70s when it went in service, designed for the volunteer firefighters at the time, and we've grown a lot since the 1970s. And
were there any women in that volunteer fire crew back in the 70s? Probably not, or very few.
Not to my recollection or hearing any of the history. I don't see any of that reflected, but we do today, very much so. The fire department today looks very different, but performs with the same commitment, dedication, and professionalism.
Of course. But I mean, that's just a glaring example that they didn't put women's restrooms in fire stations back then, and then there's a million other things and technical reasons why, and facilities reasons why it's time for an upgrade.
Well, even the size of fire apparatus, Dave, like the height of these doors, fire trucks have to be custom designed and shortened the height bring down so it can go in and out of this station. So we'll be future proofing in the design, so we don't have those issues. The doors will be wide enough, the roof will be tall enough, and I really am excited for the community to get excited about what the Fire Station 1 here in front of the high school is going to look like.
So I'll let you go. Just one final comment. I traveled around the state and at a lot of events and see a lot of people, and every time I see somebody wearing a jacket and I see that badge on it, I ask them, do you know Greg Flynn in West Bloomfield? And they all start to smile, and I mean, you've been doing this for a while. You've had a big impact. You and your department had a big positive impact, not only in our community, but statewide and likely beyond.
Well, we're grateful to a community that supports the mission. And there's one thing that this community has always said to their public safety, specifically to the fire, rescue, EMS, and they've said yes. And that's what the men and women of the WBFD step into when that bell goes off and the lights come on. They're ready to respond, and we take a great deal of pride and honor and have the privilege of serving West Bloomfield, Kego, Sylvan, and Orchard.
You can see all of our segments from the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House on our website on civiccentertv.com, and tune in throughout the week as we'll show you more of those individual interviews and special conversations that we had on Sunday at Fire Station number 1. In the meantime, keep up to date with the West Bloomfield Fire Department on their Facebook page at WB Fire Department. As many clear out the clutter from their homes, their giveaways may just become a neighbor's new treasure. With help from Spirit of Grace Church, their fall community yard sale is on Saturday, September 27th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And joining me with even more information is Pastor Joyce Partica-Steib. Pastor, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, happy to have you on to preview your community yard sale. That's not just for those in your parish, but for the entire community. It's open to everybody and happening just this weekend.
Absolutely. So we're really excited about it. We're welcoming the Taco Hub taco truck for the third time at this event. They serve the most delicious and greatest food I've had out of a taco truck. And so we're really excited to have them. They'll start setting up about 10:30 to be ready to serve at 11. And then we'll have a bake sale on top of that. And so people from the congregation and the community are baking things so that you can come get dessert and not have to cook that day or that evening. And then if you want to help support the church even more, you can either donate items to be sold by the congregation, or you can buy a table or rent a table or a spot that you could sell your own items.
And that's what's great about this, too, is it gives people an opportunity to be buyers, to be sellers, but also to help the church out directly by making either all their items or all their proceeds go back into your parish at Spirit of Grace Church. And so these options open up to everybody fairly early on. They continue on as we approach the Saturday date for this event. Is there a deadline for people if they want to get involved with a table, renting a table, buying a table, or donating, to get that information to your team?
So the tables are only available as long as we have tables to set up or to rent. So the sooner you get into us, the sooner we can tell you whether or not we have that table available. You can certainly bring your own table and save that $5 from the price and set your own table up. That's fine too. We've had people do that. So there really is no deadline. We'd love to just see you come out anyway.
More information can be found. We'll put a graphic back up there throughout this interview. There's a QR code in the bottom right corner. If you scan that, it'll take you to their website where you can find all the information that you need on this event happening Saturday, September 27th, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at Spirit of Grace Church in West Bloomfield. Pastor Joyce Partica-Steib is with us on the Splash Live today. It's not only an opportunity for people to declutter a little bit, maybe make a little bit of money themselves in selling their goods or donating to the church. It's also serving as a fundraiser for the church community as well. Pastor, what do these proceeds go toward to help in your
So
in your
this
parish?
really doesn't help the church at all financially.
Okay.
What it does is help the ministries that we do. And so we have a community Christmas dinner that we serve on Christmas Day. The proceeds from this will help go to that. We also put together Thanksgiving boxes for food, Easter boxes for food for some of the families in our community. And so this helps support that endeavor as well. And so really it helps our community action team be able to continue to serve the community in all the ways that we do.
And you market this as being not just a yard sale and a bake sale, but a fun community gathering as well. So even for people, if they're not looking to add something new or find a hidden treasure at this event, or they're not even looking to clear out their belongings, why should anybody, whether they want to do some shopping or not, attend this community yard sale this weekend?
First, I love to see what the community has to offer. There are so many great gifts. And so some people bring their own crafts that they're selling. Some are decluttering their home. And it's just a great time to see what the community has to offer to each other. The second piece is, I think anytime we can get together to be community, it's great. I think we have so much that divides us and so much in this world that can tell us that we don't need to be together, but we certainly do need to be together. We need to be with each other, and just getting out and having that time together to see what other people have to offer and just to get out of our houses and see the world around us, I think is a great thing. And third, if nothing else, it gets you out of the house so that you don't have to make lunch or dinner that night.
Yeah, it helps with those activities too. It helps you get out of the house on the weekend, find something to do. If you're bored, if it's kind of gloomy outside, you're able to go and enjoy some fun community time with Spirit of Grace Church and many here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. And it's pretty surprising too. I've been to a few of these different yard sales or community garage sale events. It brings a lot of people out, quite a surprising amount.
Yeah, it really does. And at Spirit of Grace, we have a focus of not just being a congregation, but a congregation where people can gather and be together. And so people like the Girl Scouts have come to sell cookies. We've got a diabetic food pantry that has a raffle occasionally that will help support that diabetic food pantry. We've got clients from the diabetic food pantry that might be vendors or crafters, and they'll sell their things. We've had chiropractor offices come out, or chiropractic offices come out and share what they do with the community. And so it really is just people of different gifts and talents coming together to be community.
You can find more information by calling Spirit of Grace Church 248-338-3505 or send them an email, office@spiritofgrace.church for more information. Their fall community yard sale Saturday, September 27th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Pastor Joyce Partica-Steib is with us on the Splash Live today to talk about that. Joyce, I know that this is your fall community yard sale, but it's not something that's limited to just once a year in this fall. You hold a couple of these throughout the year, so if people can't attend now, can they expect more of these as we get into 2026?
Absolutely. So we usually do one in May, and those dates should be set within the next 3 months or so. So we should have those dates out as soon as we can. But there is also one in the spring. So this isn't the last one.
And we'll be excited to help you promote that as well as we get into that portion of the season. Pastor Steib, before we let you go, anything else people should know as they get ready for your fall community yard sale this weekend?
I think the only other thing that you should know is that Spirit of Grace wants to be a place where people can gather, where people can bring themselves and be themselves in this community. And so even if nothing else, if you want to come see the ways that we're supporting West Bloomfield, Sylvan Lake, Keego Harbor, please by all means stop by, get to know some people, ask some questions.
More information can be found on spiritofgracewb.org, their new website, spiritofgracewb.org, or scan that QR code on your screen as we speak. Pause the video, scan the code, and get all the information you need to register for this fall community yard sale, or just to put it on your calendar so you can attend this weekend. Pastor Stibe, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Once again, spiritofgracewb.org is their website for more information. The Fall Community Yard Sale, Saturday, September 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2399 Figa Avenue, right here in West Bloomfield Township. September is National Preparedness Month, putting an emphasis on making sure that you are ready for any and all emergencies that may affect your household or your community. I spoke to arguably our most prolific local expert on safety and preparedness, former police chief in West Bloomfield and current West Bloomfield Township trustee Michael Patton, right here on the Splash Live for a little more insight. Former chief, welcome back.
Good morning.
Glad to have you on, Trustee Patton, to talk about emergency preparedness, something that you have had a strong role in helping our community be ready for many years in your capacity with the West Bloomfield Police Department. For individuals and their families in our community, how important is their own emergency preparedness in the full scope of how our local police, fire, EMS, and other emergency apparatus factor in when an emergency hits?
Well, I think, Tyler, thanks again for inviting me on this morning. I brought up at the recent township board meeting, in addition to the other recognitions they are doing for Suicide Prevention Month and other recognitions, that September is National Preparedness Month. And I think that is something that we need to focus on probably a little bit more in the community. We're fortunate that we've not had widespread or frequent emergencies or widespread kind of catastrophes within the community. But I think it's always best to be prepared. If you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. And I think that's what we need to concentrate on a little bit more sometimes. When you're looking at preparedness, you don't have to go full tilt survivalist, prepper kind of mentality. But I think there's some basic core things that we encourage our residents to do. And one of the first things you need to do is to have a plan in place. You need to sit down with your family members or important others in your life and sit back and say, what if? What if this happened? What if there was a tornado? What if there was a protracted power outage? What if the water, we had loss of water? We've seen those kind of things happen, at least sometimes in the recent history in West Bloomfield. But it's good to have a plan in place to talk about what you'd have. And those plans need to be perhaps unique to your family. Do you have children? Do you have pets? Do you have elderly residents in your home? Do you have people with infirmities or disabilities that need to be considered? That if we had to stay in the home here for a protracted period of time, how would we get along? How would we be able to sustain our life and health within the home? And I think those are important discussions to have.
And it's because these emergencies that do pop up, they're not small emergencies just here in Greater West Bloomfield. Often they do affect multiple communities. Yes, there are those tornado warnings that come up, those floods that come up in certain places here and there. But we have had major incidents throughout the years. The blackout in the Metro Detroit area over 20 years ago, that affected Greater West Bloomfield. The COVID-19 pandemic, even a water main break just a few years ago, shut off a significant portion of our township's water for a significant period of time, and we had to be individually and collectively prepared for that. And so, Trustee Patton, as people make that individual plan, how does that then factor into the wider spread preparedness that is often led by our police, our fire, and our EMS?
Well, look, there are always going to be public safety services that are out there working, perhaps working harder when an emergency happens. I think one of the things you need to do is to stay dialed in, to understand that when something is tipping off, that you are alert, and then you can activate your plan in place. There are some things we'd recommend people do. Like, one is getting an emergency radio. It has no weather radio capability so that you can be alert. Now, this particular one right here, and it's not supporting a particular brand, because there's a lot you can find online, is a hand crank radio that you don't need to have electricity for. That if the power is out, you can take it out, hand crank it for a few minutes, and then you could listen to radio notifications, even if you're listening to 89.3 Lakes FM for those notifications. It's important to keep in plan. So, look, you want to have water in your home. I mean, people always think, well, if the water's out, I'll just run down to the local store, or Myers or Walmart or someplace, and get some water. By the time you get out of bed and have that thought, everyone else is in line in front of you, and there may not be those local resources for you to buy. So I think it's important that you do those kind of things. You want to have sufficient water in your home for a few days. There are resources out there you can look at. You can look at the FEMA website or the ready.gov federal websites for information or suggestions. You can look at Oakland County, the gov.net website, and look at resources there. You can look at the state of Michigan website. One couple of things we always recommend people to do here in West Bloomfield, there is a Nixle, Nixle alert system that you can subscribe to. The information of that, you go on the township website, on the police webpage, it'll tell you how simple it is to subscribe to that. And you can get notifications, whether about the road is closed due to a traffic crash, or about other emergency notifications, and those are primarily put out by the police department. You can also sign up for the Oakland County alert system. I just got a notification the other day that they were changing some of their format, a specific system they were using, and you want to be able to use that and to put out a wider range area of communications. West Bloomfield we do task our emergency management responsibilities to Oakland County. So, in an area-wide emergency, we would be looking to Oakland County to help manage and resource us here in West Bloomfield in what's going on. Our great fire chief, Greg Flynn, is our point of contact for emergency management with Oakland County.
And it's all about being prepared, both individually and as your collective in your household. Even here in Greater West Bloomfield, one of the more safe communities in all of Metro Detroit and all of the state of Michigan, that preparedness does play a huge role when emergencies do arise, either in your home, in your neighborhood, or all throughout the community and beyond. West Bloomfield Township trustee and former police chief Michael Patton joins us on the Splash Live for more information on National Preparedness Month, as well as resources to help you form your plan with you and yours. Ready.gov/September is the website. That is their National Preparedness Month website. Individually, it has plenty of different information on there, including a helpful toolkit, some messages, some additional resources for low and no cost tips that will help you and your family, building a family emergency plan, and all of that. Ready.gov/September. And the trustee Patton, not only is having this information important, not only is making a plan important, the final element is then practicing that plan. How important in preparedness is the practice element?
Well, look, we always advocate an all hazards approach so that most of what you're doing or planning for could be used or applicable to whatever the situation or emergency that you're facing at the time. So whether it's a weather related thing or it's a power related or a water related, that all hazards are kind of approach. There's one website that I think it's actually based in a Michigan-based company called Do One Thing, and they advocate on a monthly basis. Matter of fact, they have calendars that you can purchase that they advocate that you start concentrating, just take one thing that you can do each month, whether it be getting water, talking about medical emergencies, developing a first aid kit, a shelter, special needs. Do one thing per month, and over the course of a year, you're basically covered probably a wide latitude of things that you should be concentrating on. Look, you mentioned earlier about the police and fire, and yes, they'll be very active in the community along with other resources in any kind of emergency. But it's important that you develop with your family, whether at home or at work, some resiliency. Because yes, government will be there to start managing and bringing containment and closure to whatever the emergency is, but you need to be, as an individual and as a family, and perhaps as a business, you need to be resilient. And you be able to survive and outlast the emergency basically on your own, maybe regardless of whether or not emergency services are there to help you.
You think about it sort of like the road commission when they're clearing out those main roads after a big snowstorm. They start with the most heavily trafficked areas. So does our local emergency services. Those areas of the greatest overall need are where they're going to start, the macro down to the micro. That's why you take care of the micro at home, outward to help the macro in our community. Chief Patton, thank you so much for your time today, as always.
Thank you, President.
For more information, including emergency updates in Greater West Bloomfield and some more preparedness information and action items that you can take into effect in your home, stay tuned with us right here on the Splash Live. It's a major landmark in West Bloomfield, nestled in the middle of Orchard Lake. Recently, residents got a chance to take a special preview with the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and explore the wonders of Apple Island. We sent reporter Jake Schaff along on the journey.
If you're looking for someplace that is rich in history in Greater West Bloomfield, look no further than Apple Island. Every year, the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society takes several lucky residents from Greater West Bloomfield to stop by Apple Island and to learn about the vast and rich history of the island from over 100 years ago.
It has been an absolute glorious, fantastic day out here, and most of our visitors are first-timers, so to see the look of awe and wonder in their eyes, to spin around and see nothing but beautiful nature with a gentle breeze and no mosquitoes. They're loving it, and they get to learn the natural beauty of the island and also to learn the historical background, too.
What would you say are some of your favorite parts of this whole place?
I think being surrounded by nature in a very peaceful... I've been here in freezing sleet rains. I've been here in snow. I've been here in sweltering days. Been here with mosquitoes. It's always an incredible experience. Being here today is just beyond perfect. I've been doing this for at least 40 years, and I love it.
I thought it was awesome. It was a beautiful day, first of all, and being able to hike through the woods and talk to the docents and have them answer our questions and learn about all the history of the island was very cool. Well, I think it's really important to understand the history in the area that you live in, and hopefully by learning the history, we can all be more conscious of preserving the area and taking care of the land that we all live on.
My ancestors, the Campbells, bought the island in 1856. They were Scottish immigrants. They came to Detroit in 1842, had a dry goods store in Detroit, and this was the equivalent of going up north in the 1850s. They bought the island in 1856 as a summer getaway. I think the Campbells in particular would be so gratified to know that it's a nature sanctuary today. We all can be out here enjoying it, and it's the same things that they were enjoying about it 150 years ago. So I think that is very remarkable.
With the chances to come to Apple Island being so scarce nowadays, how special are these trips in really showcasing these wonders to the people of Greater West Bloomfield?
It's crucial. You know, this tells the story of our history out here. It tells the history of the land. It tells the history going back from the glaciers. Mostly we like to showcase the native people that lived here. And if we don't keep telling our stories, the stories will be forgotten. So to be on such a beautiful wildlife, incredible island, it's so important that people learn it, and the elder people and their offspring and the little kids, that they continue the stories of Apple Island and the stories of native life.
These tours need to continue, and that they are for the community and by the community, and so we hope that these will be able to continue in perpetuity.
As long as Apple Island is here, it will always be home to several different nuggets of history for everyone in the Greater West Bloomfield community to learn. A big thank you to the Historical Society for putting on this incredible event every single year and for preserving the history of one of Michigan's most beloved locations. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
We're not done yet following the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society as they look through our deep and storied history in Greater West Bloomfield. You can join along on their website, gwbhs.org. That's our show. I want to remind you that television that's close to home is always online on civiccentertv.com and across our social media. Big thank you to our entire team for making this show possible, and of course to you for joining in. For our entire crew, I'm Tyler Kieft, live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.